Hello, everyone. Happy Snirthday. Good morning. Well, afternoon now at this point. Afton, Dan, Okay. Starting off strong. Dan, Leonard, Google Docky, Tortilla, Estine. Hello. So you know me. I'm Evan. But this is not the point of the stream today. Um, I told y'all that I would like to introduce you to somebody very special today. Um, and This is Adelaide, and today is a very special day for her because it is now 10 years since I got her. So maybe not exact birthday, but at least 10 years with me. So just wanted to bring her on. I don't know that I've talked much about her. Um, during the stream stuff. She lives downstairs and my stream room is upstairs, so I try not to bother her too much. Um, but yeah, I think nice little short one today, probably about 2 hours of stream, just hanging out with the snake. I have some baby pictures. I have some previous birthday pictures. Um, it's a snake. Hi, Courtney. I don't know if she is, but she's been through the. She was there through all of my Taylor Swift shows, so probably. What, Tortilla? Hmm. Maybe next year. Maybe we'll do that this coming September. So Adelaide is a ball python, and she is doing the ball python thing right now. Kind of lumped up here. And yes, same species as Patchy for all you Alveus folks out there. So she's a ball python, and she is about 4 feet long, and she weighs about 4.5 pounds. She pretty consistently stays around 2,100 grams, which is like 4.6 pounds or whatever. And yeah, today is 10 years exactly since I went and picked her up. Um, I have wanted a snake my entire life, and Momtomology was not a fan. Momtomology was not a fan of that idea. So I never had a snake growing up. Um, but then my rebellious thing that I did in college was start getting animals that I wasn't allowed to have as a kid. So I adopted a tokay gecko from a friend of mine that I used to work with, and that thing was meaner than shit, and I couldn't really handle it or hang out or anything. Um, but I still had always wanted a snake. And I was planning to get one when I moved in with my upcoming roommate. I was at the time when I did get Adelaide. Um, at the time when I did get her, I was living with like an electrical engineer and a computer engineer, and so weren't really into the whole bio thing. But I was moving in with an entomologist, uh, like at the end of the semester. So it would have been in like May or June of that year. But I was sitting in a meeting. Monday nights, I used to have housing meetings. I was involved, like, I wasn't an RA, but I was closely tied to all of that stuff. Um, in college, and I was sitting there browsing Facebook Marketplace as one does, like a good representative in the meetings. Um, and I found Adelaide on Facebook Marketplace for $50. Tank included, decor included. Um, and I messaged the girl and said, "Yes, I will buy this snake." And then I messaged my roommates and was like, "Hey, so hypothetically, um, and they at this point I already had a couple of tarantulas and I had a couple of other weird critters going on, so they were like, "Did you already like agree to get it?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, all right, well, that's fine, I suppose." Um, so I went and I picked her up. $50, easiest deal, steal of the century, if I do say so myself. And I talked to the girl, and I was like, "What?" Because she was so small. I have, like I said, I have baby pictures for you in just a minute. She is looping around the chair in places that I don't want her to be. We've lost her. We have to untangle her from the. We have to untangle her from the chair. Um, give me, give me a second. Mm. She's on the slither. That's her head. She's coming back. Um, so I got her in the parking lot of my apartment complex, and I talked to the girl. I was like, "She's itty bitty baby snake. Like, what's wrong with it? Why, why? What's going on?" And she said that she was in a sorority and that she had gotten the snake at the pet store just like maybe a week or so before, but the house rules for her sorority did not allow for snakes. So she had to give up the snake that she just bought. She said that she has spent like $150 on snake alone. So getting snake plus tank with decor and everything was quite the steal. But the tank that she came in was only 10 gallons, so not very big. And granted, she was not very big at the time. But she still probably could have used a much bigger. She's untangling. She's almost at the end. I'll grab her in just a second. There we go. All right, now she's wrapping around the desk. Um, she's exploring. She's never been up here very much, so she's trying to check everything out. Um, yeah, so I got her Facebook Marketplace, $50, and she was so small at the time. Um, let me. Okay. So this was one of her first baby pictures. I don't think this is the first one that I ever took of her. Um, but that's a chocolate milk bottle, and you can see how small she was compared to that little bit. Um, I posted this and I said, "Adelaide, you're a ball python, not a milk snake. What are you doing?" I thought that was very funny at the time. I still think it is pretty funny. Um, but I had this, which was her in shed on top, like getting ready to shed her skin, and then on the bottom after she had molted. So that's my hand before, and this is her on my hand now. So she has grown up so much in that time. Um and yeah, she's been with me through a lot. She was acquired in Florida, moved to Kansas, moved to Arizona, moved back to Florida. So she is very well traveled. She's been to Alveus. She was in my car when I stopped over this past summer on my way here. Um and yeah, she's been a phenomenal snake over the years, and uh very excited that I took that jump on Facebook Marketplace all those years ago. So now I have like sequentially some of my favorite pictures of her from over the years. I would just like if she would just kind of crawl around, like hold on to neck like this would be fine. Um, Jump scare baby Evan. This was also not too long after we got her. Um, she does like to crawl up and around the head. That is a thing that she has always enjoyed, and she always likes to take my glasses off when it happens as well. Peeking out. Snapchat filter back in the day. I don't remember what it was actually for, but using to eat carrots and well, feed them more exotic produce. Granola, hello. Start over. Probably not from the very beginning, but this is Adelaide. She's my ball python, and as of today, I have had her for 10 years. So we're going over what fertility. Um, yeah, we're just going over some baby pictures of her. This was her when I first got her, very very small, and then pretty soon after I got her, and you can see now that she's much longer, about about 4 feet long. Oh, adding cat. Um, but she was great. She's very personable. If I die on stream. um, but she's always been very personable, really good with people. She is a little bit head shy, meaning that she doesn't like it when we go near her head. But otherwise, she is great at being people's first introduction to snakes. Like I said, Momtomology was like not a fan of this idea growing up, but now she's like, "How's my grand snake?" I'm like, oh, she's good. She did have a little bit of a toast procedure happening. Now of course, when I was going to talk about it, she hid her tail. But even after I got her, like right away, even though that girl only had Adelaide for a little bit, she had stuck shed on like the very tip of her tail. So if she brings it around again here, I'll get it on the screen. Um, Her tail is like a little bit blunt, and that's because there was stuck shed there, and uh I had to take her to the vet to get the last little bit of it taken off. Um, like the tip of the tail was rotting. It wasn't great. I've had her 10 years. How old is she? She wasn't very old when I got her. So I think she was probably born, I don't know, maybe 6 months before I had her. So she's probably around 10. Um I got her and she was like about a foot long, so she has grown quite a bit since then. My scarf is moving. I would be more concerned if she wasn't. But hello, John. Welcome in. Um, let's go back over. She does have a little bit of a nub tail, but other than that, she's been great. Uh, as I said, very personable. Here, I think this is the next picture. Oh no, that's Pocket Snake. Um, this was baby's first hurricane, both hers and mine. um, so I did my undergrad in Florida, and this was the first time that we had like enough of a hurricane warning for us to needing to be due prep for it. And so because I didn't have like a backup generator or anything at the time, um I asked the undergrad coordinator for entomology if I could bring my snake in to have uh make sure she would have like guaranteed power if something were to happen. And so I took her into work secretly after we were all supposed to be out of work, um in my friend's pocket. So she was just curled up in there peeking out just a bit. Um Going back down the chair, everybody. And here she is being held by my drunk friends at a party. Like I said, very personable snake, and a lot of my friends, a lot of my non-biology friends, at least, first introduction into snakes not being that bad. So here she is being lovingly gazed at on the floor of my apartment. She's the cat of parties with making a snake. Yeah, absolutely. I had so this year in particular, we had at my place a lot what were called car crash parties, because the first one happened after a friend of mine got into a car accident and needed to let off some steam. And so they ended up just being like really, I wouldn't say wild parties, but like we got pretty we were pretty invested in the party scene at that point. Um so we people would come over, and there were people that would come into my apartment that I had never met before that were like, "Can we see your snake?" So yeah, drunk people on the ground sitting there with Adelaide. Um, I got a decent ish camera for the first time, and here she was playing on the stool of my apartment. Um, this was I tried so long to get a nice tongue flick out of her, and finally worked out. No pants part. That's crazy. Hmm. And this is my friend Emily. I reached out and made sure that these pictures were okay, by the way. Um, but Emily was my pet sitter when I was out of town. And so Adelaide has gone on two really long hunger strikes, as in she just wouldn't eat for a while. And it's totally fine for ball pythons. Um, oh no, out of my wires. No, 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 ma'am. Out. God. She is. She is like around four different pieces right now. Well, I suppose it's fine. We'll get there. She'll come back, probably. But ball pythons are pretty well known for not eating for extended lengths of time. This was when the first one started. I was out of town, and my friend here was feeding her for me, and she wouldn't eat. And then she got a nice little compliment, little boofle. That's pretty solid, granola. That sounds like a fun party. Okay, she's going over the tower now and is down at floor level, but we have to wait for the rest of the tail to catch up with her before we can grab her out. Um, and then this was after we moved to Kansas. This was my patio in Wichita, and we were sitting outside. She crawled down. I ran inside, I think, to grab dinner or whatever, so I could out on my little patio thing here, and she took my seat. That was fairly fun. And this was when I got her the tank upgrade. So I she came to me in a 10-gallon tank, which is not that big. Um, but she was quite small at the time, so it was like fine. Um, but imagine her. I mean, not at current size. Obviously, never been in something this small at current size. But imagine her in this. This is for the fish tank project, so you'll maybe be seeing more of these. Um, she's under my desk now, and I'm worried she's gonna like. Even though there's no precedent for this, I'm worried she's gonna bite my toe. um, so I moved her out of the 10-gallon pretty fast, and at that point I was a poor college student, but I had seen lots of people making like tote bin enclosures, so like a big 80 quart, that doesn't sound, one of the really big like long plastic storage bins, um because they hold in humidity better than glass does. And so for a long time I had her in one of those. But then when I moved, is she ready for feeding? Probably not. She ate on the 9th. Is that when I fed her? Yeah. So it's only been like 2 weeks. um she'll probably feed again next, give or take. But I'm not worried about it. She's just, I don't know how often she's seen a foot in her life. But when I started my master's, I was like, okay, I got an upgrade now. Let's get Adelaide. She gets rats. She's large enough that she feeds on um a roughly 200 gram to 250 gram rat every like 3 to 4 weeks is her general schedule. Um, but moving her into this new enclosure and also moving to a place that actually had winter was the start of her second and the really long hunger strike. Um, I think moving across the country was maybe not her favorite, and I also think her experiencing winter for the first time and like potentially going through the brumation process just threw off her desire to eat anything. And so she did not eat for 11 and a half months. Oh, okay. You let me use this now. She was starting to climb on the power supply. So we couldn't have her accidentally unplugging the computer. So we had to remove her from the coils of the wires. It doesn't have to be perceived necessarily. She just can't be unplugging the computer. Granola. Tender Lemon Wedge made the art for me. She is my office mate at work, and she's also the one who did all the sub badges. So she's just gonna probably hang out here on the desk now that I've ruined her plans to wander around. Um, but yeah, so she got an upgrade from the big plastic container into a 4x2x15 animal plastics enclosure. Bye, Courtney. See you later. Thanks for stopping by for Adelaide's Snirthday. Um, that was during. So she moved into this new enclosure, but then proceeded not to eat for 11 and a half months. Um, she did not eat for about half the time that we were in Kansas together, which is crazy to think about. So I would try every like 2 to 3 weeks for to get her to eat, and she wouldn't. I took her to the vet, and they said she looked great, and that I should only start worrying if she were to lose more than 10% of her body weight. So, like I said at the beginning, she weighs about 4.5 pounds, which is about 2,100 grams. And she has been in that weight area for quite a while. Um, but over the course of that 11 and a half months, even with somewhat regular poos, she only lost 60 grams. So she had like another 140, so at least more than that, double the weight loss before I would have had to worry. So the vet was like, he's fine. She seems like she's totally fine, but ball pythons are kind of stubborn like this sometimes and just won't eat. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. Um, but she finally ate a week and a half shy of what would have been a year. So she got regular after that and hasn't, knock on the desk there to not jinx myself, but she has been eating very regularly since then. But so she ate in October. So then 8 months after she ate again for the first time, we moved to Arizona. I started my PhD. She came with me, and I was renting a 3 bedroom house with a friend of mine. And so we each had our room, but then we had what we deemed the critter room, which was Adelaide's tank, all of our combined pet bugs that we had, and our microscope setup and everything. But then, just about 6 months after I started my PhD, COVID happened. So I was home a lot more during the day, and I got to appreciate and hang out with Adelaide. So this was her while I was working from home during COVID, learning to be an entomologist. All of our exciting vials of things up there. She even learned how to work the microscope. Oh, thank you, Quad. So she figured out the microscope. She's looking, as you can see, right up here at some insect pins that she's hoping to use to prepare her specimens. But we got to hang out a lot more. She is pretty adventurous, as you guys can see. She is crawling all over the place. Um, but we do just sit and chill pretty often. I do most of the chilling and also then snake wrangling because we need to make sure she can't escape too much. Um, and this was that tank that she had gotten upgraded into. This is an animal plastics 4x2x15, I think. And you can see like just how long she is in there compared to the full length of the tank. Ophelia, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Happy snake birthday to you. So she was in that until probably about this time last year. Um, for her 9th birthday, I got her a big tank upgrade into a 4x2x2. So she now has almost double the amount of vertical space to play around with, which is quite exciting. Um, for a while, she did have to go in back into her plastic tub. And that was because I was going to do a deep clean on her tank here. Oh, you can really see her little stubby tank. Not doesn't come to that nice point. That was because, like I said, she had some stuck shed that caused the end of the tail to need to be cut off. She was a little baby, but now she has a sit there with it. Um, so this tank, uh, spinning, spinning. I was doing a big deep clean of this tank at some point, and I took the lid off, and then the glass fell out. So that's like double thick glass that has the lock and everything in it. But I broke. Oh no, Courtney. That's such a bummer. Entomology, yes, your favorite granddaughter. Well, you're not wrong. But you can actually see uh these little green jars in the background with the little bandanas. Those are the spider beetles. These guys, the little ones that are running around in the oats. Those are the same colonies. I've had those beetles for like 6 years now. Um, so yeah, she upgraded into this tank, but then I broke the glass. And that was a huge pain because the place that I got her tank from does not sell replacement glass. And I didn't want to have to buy another good one, Afton. Good one. Um I didn't want to have to buy a whole nother tank. So I did what I do to put Adelaide in transport. Whenever we've moved across the country together, she sits in a tied up inside a pillowcase inside of a cardboard box on my front seat, and then she gets the seat warmer turned on for her. So I broke the glass, which was a gigantic pain. I put her into a pillowcase to hang out for the day, and I went to every Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, all of those degrees of shops to try to find new glass that I could put in here. And it's a very odd size. And so they don't just sell glass in this configuration. And most Lowe's, if you guys didn't know this, will cut glass for you. They will cut it to whatever dimension and you'll have it and it'll be fine. For whatever reason, on that day that I needed it, every glass cutter at every Lowe's in a 40-mile radius was broken. They like they couldn't they couldn't do it. And so what I ended up trying to do was buying a larger piece of glass and cutting it myself. So I bought a big straight edge, I bought a glass scorer, I dipped it in some gasoline to make it roll nice, and I tried to cut it right. And that obviously did not work as you would want it to. So I then had to recreate her old tank. She went back into the plastic bin because there's just no way to put glass. I had to, the glass wouldn't work. So then I got the next week. Ooh, granola. That's sick. You should post some of that somewhere. Love to see it. So it obviously didn't work out. I had to move her back into her old tank, which she was not happy about. Because not only did I have to uh move her back into her old tank, but like it was pretty bare bones because I had to replace all of the soil and substrate and stuff in there because I didn't know how much glass made it into, the actual tank. So I had to get rid of all of that stuff in there. So she was in her old tank for a while. I went to the store the next weekend and they cut the glass for me. Great. I installed it. It was fine. Adelaide went back into this tank. And I'm sitting on the couch. I believe I was playing Mario Kart at the time. Uh, and I hear glass break. What the fuck? I just replaced that glass. What's going on here? And so I walk over into the critter room, as it were. And little Miss, right here, has poked her head through the glass. Down here in like this corner, I think she was trying to like wedge herself over here, and she just popped the bottom corner off. It wasn't jagged or anything. There must have been a little crack in it. It just kind of opened up. But yeah, fucking shithead here. Just her head, a couple inches out of the tank next to some broken glass, and I was obviously freaking out that she was like going to slit her any part of her, honestly. Um so she went back into the pillowcase. I flipped the glass around so the non-broken end or so the broken end would be like in the middle of the tank here, where she wouldn't have any access to it. And I like duct taped it, and I immediately started looking for plexiglass because if she was going to be this big of a problem, I wanted her to have plastic and not glass. But finally, I did find someone to I would just remove the lid of the tank. Oh, totally. They're so they're yeah. I have You haven't met Roswell yet either, but I have Roswell who will be getting a tank upgrade very soon. Is my king snake that I have downstairs, and he's got tank clips because he'll take his lid off for sure. Um, So she broke out. She got replaced with plexiglass then. Um, and here she is exploring the floor of the critter room. These were my isopod colonies when I was very big into isopods during COVID. Um, but then, like I said, last year I got her a bigger tank that was essentially this one, but again, doubled vertically. So she had a lot more vertical space. I redid all of the decorations inside, bigger water bowl, all that good stuff. Well, I had to move that from Arizona to Florida this past summer. And as I was tilting it up to get it loaded into the car, what happened? If you guessed the glass fell out, you would be correct. So, in the middle of packing up quite literally everything that I own, having to move two snakes and 60 invertebrates cross country, um, I now had to deal with two like 2 by 2 foot panes of glass that had broken in my apartment, and now my snake didn't have a place to live again. So, um, I loaded her tank in the car. I just didn't have glass, and she had to be a pillowcase snake for a couple days. Um, I made sure the belly heat and everything was good during the move. When I got to Alveus, she got unpacked and everything, so she was good there. But one of the first things that I had to do when I got to Florida was go to Home Depot or go to Lowe's. I go to Lowe's because they're not as Trump aligned. Um, and get double thick plexiglass. I learned my lesson. I'm no longer going to use any glass with her enclosures, but the regular plexiglass was like thin, and I was worried that she would be able to bend it enough to be able to get through this middle section here. And so they do sell plexiglass that's uh like double thickness, but it's really expensive. I had just spent like $300 on Facebook Marketplace buying the new tank. Um, and then when I got here, I immediately had to spend $85 buying double thick plexiglass. So little Miss Ball Python here wouldn't be able to bust out. And so far, we're doing well. It's holding. I like how it looks. It's easier to clean than the other glass that I've had so far. I am very, very happy with the setup right now. And I'm not worried that if I have to move it again, which hopefully no time soon, um I will be able to move it without the, the front of the tank breaking and running into the same emergency scenario that we just had not too long ago. So again, here's her looking at isopods, exploring the room. Is with a friend of mine. Again, exploring inside the critter room. You can see, like I said, this was during COVID, so this is trap samples back here. All of these vials here are old trap samples that we had to sort through and whatnot. Um, but Adelaide, big people person, or big people snake, I suppose. Jump scare for Evan during COVID, with the big unkempt mountain man beard. But remember, she likes to take glasses off. She likes to be up. And so we have the baby picture of her doing the same thing, just when she's about 4 times as long as she was the first time. And here she is, all kind of splayed out. I like I said, she's head shy. She doesn't like it when we get near her head. Um, and so she's always been very hard to measure. But what I did was let her spread out on our kitchen tile and then take a string and basically retrace the shape that she had left um to see if we could get an accurate length on her. And the last time that we measured her when she was like full out like this, we got around 4 foot 4 inches. No, I think we're gonna stick with Adelaide. She's had it for 10 years, and I think it would be mean to change her name now. Um, I don't really know where I got the name Adelaide. I always liked it. It is the city in Australia, and I do tend to like place names or place names that could be people names as well. So Roswell is my king snake downstairs, like Roswell, New Mexico. I had a friend's snake that I was watching for a while during undergrad. So this was a while ago, like when I had first gotten Adelaide. That was unnamed when I got it, but then left being called Denali. So we're gonna keep her, but she sure does break out like Andy Brain. I see what you're saying. And then this was her. I think the last weekend um before she got into the new tank. I had the new tank all set up, but she was shedding. As you can see, she's kind of like dull here compared to what we've got right now. Um, she was getting ready to shed, and I had pulled her out for to move into the new tank, and she was all kind of dulled out like this. And I was like, "Well, all right, well, I guess you have to wait another week or so until you shed." And this was 2 years ago, birthday celebration. Yeah, I mean she's about the same size now. But this next one, the cutest by far, was her first. Oh, class pictures in Discord now. Excellent. Um, I discovered this after the first birthday that she had with me, where I made an actual little hat for her out of Play-Doh. Um, this is when we figured out that she did not like things going near her head. You can see my thumb under there trying to keep her head out of the ball just so we could have the little hat. Um, so she did not like that very much. And so we stopped doing this and we moved to digital hats on the photos here. Just because, her birthday, we don't want her to be uncomfortable. And I think that is all we have for Adelaide to be pictured. Digimon. Uh, Not as much as I watched other things. Yeah, that's Adelaide. Yeah, Pokemon. I was also a big Yu. Where did you put them, Granola? Playing Bug Court or Maya's Bug Court? Whoa. Holy shit. Do you mind if I If I show these, can we bring them up? All right. This is crazy. That's wrong. Oh, got dog. Got Oreo, the other dog. That's awesome. How long have you been doing this? I like. I'm not surprised because the Alveus community always tends to shock me with like how talented they are. But you're like, oh yeah, I do stained glass. I was like, oh, maybe Granola's just starting out. But obviously, holy, she's on the microphone. Midnight, yes. Uh, it is my snake's birthday, or at least her 10-year adoptiversary with me. We don't know exactly how old she is. We just count this as. Oh, this is what I was thinking. I was gonna say you could certainly surely make some bug art. This is incredible. Oh my god. Dog mirror? Are you kidding? Then Levi, thank you for the follow. Here's before your bug knowledge. Let's review. I mean, got antennae, got the pattern on the pronotum. This is a little bit of a head sticking out. I love that. Oh, she is right on the webcam. I love how the solder lines here between these two pieces are the legs. That like goes incredibly hard actually. Got a Elytra, you've got the glowy butt. I don't really know what I would have to fix about this. This is great. Mirror sunglasses are excellent. He's going right for you. Oh wow. This is awesome. This is very funny. I like that one a lot. Whoa. Granola, this is incredible. This is ridiculous. I I'm so impressed. I when we dissociate, I feel that. I just wow. I'm not very artsy and craftsy. So whenever I see people do stuff like this, you might as well be doing black magic. I just I can't imagine the time that goes into these sorts of things. Yeah, Koga, how long do they take? Granola, if you don't mind us grilling you about your art. 40 hours. Okay, that's a full-time job for a week. But I mean, it was worth it, right? I imagine these ones that have the smaller pieces in general take longer just because you have to make more cuts with the glass, but I'm completely speaking out of my ass. Uh something like something like this that has, I mean, they're still odd shapes, so you still have to do all the cutting and everything, but there's not nearly as many pieces as there are here. Nonstop like your husband was a way to make time lapse of them all. Yeah, this is remarkable. I just wouldn't even fathom like where to start with something like this. Ridiculous. So good. I really like the pumpkin's a good one. Cool Donkey. I mean, yes, but me staring at a pile of glass is hmm, I don't know where to go from there. Yeah, I could see that. But you you should absolutely open up to at least one bug Baby Jabbas. Thank you for the follow. 650 people. We're working. We are okay. I'll message you. I will for sure message you. We hit 650, Adelaide, on your birthday. How do you feel about that? What's a 650? Um, that we're 65% of the way there to 1,000. I haven't really. This was not the point of the stream, but I also haven't really thought about uh like goals for the stream for the year. Yeah, but Aphid. Oh, that's what that looks like. Okay. I saw I saw that when we were playing Grounded the other day, and I didn't actually see what the emote looked like. Um, yeah, I haven't thought about goals for the stream or plans for growth or anything because it just kind of happens. Um, but I am certainly all ears to suggestions. I know I have some things in the works in terms of like live bug hunts and things like that going forward later in the year, but we could do more. I think we can do more with this. Um including events like Snake Birthday. Getting a little fancy, girl. Her hand off the desk. All right. I think we have reached the activity limit for Snake Birthday. Um, I do have one other snake, Granola, but he is not nearly as personable. And I think having him out for this long would be quite stressful. Um, I am working on a tank upgrade for him. I just got a bigger tank at work recently that I was able to take home. And so I need to mix up substrate and do all that other good stuff. But maybe eventually. Oh, he was right at you. Maybe eventually Roswell will make a stream debut. Um, I do also have all of the other inverts downstairs. I have a select few that we've brought up here, like the beetles and the ants and everything that just kind of stay up here. But with the tarantulas, I don't necessarily want to stress them with moving around so much and bring them up and downstairs on stream and everything. And I don't want you guys to get too good of a look at the layout of my house. So I don't think we'll be streaming downstairs. Um, but not to bring a super Debbie Downer to the snake birthday. um, but earlier this week I did I did lose Gwen, who was my first ever tarantula. Um, I had her for about a year and a half before I got Adelaide. Uh, so that's been a bummer. I still have Archimedes, who is the second one. I got Gwen during a spider biology class in college when she was like itty bitty bitty teeny tiny. Um, and yeah, so I mean, she was my first like gateway into keeping inverts and uh keeping odd pets, I would say. Satan the true Lord. Hello. um, but yeah, that's been tough. I'm doing okay, but that sucks. The thing is that with inverts, it's pretty easy to memorialize. Uh, Gwyn is in fact in the freezer, and she will eventually be getting uh taxidermied and stuffed and framed, and we can have a little spot for her like right here maybe. Um I don't know if that's appropriate for stream. Uh in terms of like stuff uh in terms of cutting open stuff and stuffing her. And I feel like the rules are probably different because it's an invert and not like an a vertebrate, you know. But I'll have to look into that before we. It is educational, and I think it would be fine. So often on Twitch. Or you mean in general? Because like I did in high school as well, but no, not while streaming. See, that's the question. I have prepared so many of my animals that have passed. I've got a whole drawer over here of former pets that are now excellent display specimens. Um the streaming part is where the question was, not my ability to do it. Everything else that I've taxidermied though hasn't been not to say that they haven't been as special, because like it's always hard losing stuff no matter what it is. And with inverts a lot of the time it there's no answer, right? um with vertebrates and things like that, you can take them to the vet, you can get the necropsy and be like, what went wrong here? But with inverts, shit happens. Shit happens. And even after, 10 plus years of uh caring basically the same way, maybe something was off this past period, even though everyone else seems fine. So I don't know what it was. In theory, she could have lived another 10 years plus. So that is the frustrating thing, I think, to me, is that I feel like she had a lot more time. Gramistola, or not Gramistola, Brachypelma, are some of the longer lived tarantulas where the females can be like upwards of 20. Um, and so yeah, I just wasn't expecting it so soon. Is what it comes down to. I've had a lot of animals over the years, especially with invertebrates. They have a lot shorter of a lifespan than vertebrates tend to. And so it's never been easy. But given the fact that I got Gwyn past like the quarter inch tarantula stage, and I had her at basically full size for the last 5 years or so, I was just expecting more. Um, But I do think it would be a cool exercise. We can do the hand cam like we did when we were sorting the pins and everything. So keep an eye out for that. I don't have any plans of when yet because I don't know that I'm ready yet. Um, and we've got a couple of other things coming up. At least I have a couple other things coming up in terms of work and stuff like that. So I won't schedule anything at the moment, but yeah, I think that would I thought about that when I was taking her out of the tank and everything. I was like, well, a Twitch stream. The middle of my sobbing in the kitchen. I was like, well, we could do this. But anyway, not to be sad on Adelaide's birthday. We're very happy for Adelaide being here, and she is happy and healthy as ever. I took her to the vet school when I first moved back to Florida. They looked her over. She said she looked great. Not to really, no big alterations or anything. She seems fine. So hopefully stays around for a while. Um, but yeah. Uh, thank you everyone. I like I said, didn't mean to bring the mood down, but you know, it happens. So I think I am going to probably call it right about there. I know this was a pretty short one. But Adelaide's getting antsy, and I have a 45-minute seminar talk to give on Tuesday. I have not finished it. So I need to work through that um and get that ready and all polished up. Um but then potentially later this week or over this weekend I will be able to uh sign on and actually give that talk for you guys. I know like with uh my conference talk back in November, we worked through it on stream, and that felt less invasive because it was only like 15 minutes. But this is a full 45, so I have to flesh out quite a bit. Um, but anyway, I'm gonna go work on that. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Oh, you're good. Sam. Everyone say happy birthday, Adelaide. Say goodbye. Thanks for coming, everybody. Adelaide was uh thrilled to meet Cat. So I am just going to send you back home, meaning back to Alveus. Stream tomorrow, undecided as of right now. Again, big 45-minute talk coming up, so I don't know if I'll be ready or if I have plans really. Um, you'll have to see. If it will be, it'll be at normal time, but if not, I will see you guys Wednesday for pre-chat chat. But have fun in Alveus. I will probably see you guys over there in chat after I make some lunch and then start working on my talk. Bye, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.